Good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Patti with your Wednesday morning check in for Wednesday, January 20th. This is my first check in for 2021, so I'm excited to join you this morning. Spent a lot of time reflecting on Pastor Nate's sermon last week about Nathaniel and the call when Jesus called he and Philip. And, Pastor Nate gave us a lot of things to think about. And one of the things I want to incorporate in our short time together today is, can anything good come out of what we've been going through? I think it can. And I think we can look at it in many different ways. And we probably need to reflect about where we are personally. The first thing, the reason some people don't understand this lesson is because they have to realize that where Nathaniel lived at that time over 2,000 years ago, that it wasn't the best place to live. These people were heavily taxed. They were many, many zealots at the time. And the question of, can anything good come out of Nazareth, really makes us think. Can anything good? Well, obviously it did. So can anything good come out of this pandemic? I think it can. And I think it can if you realize that God knows you. Do you remember that toy that came out many, many years ago? The Tickle Me Elmo? And when you would tickle Elmo or squeeze him, he would say, Elmo loves you. Elmo thinks you're great. Elmo thinks you're terrific. Elmo thinks you are the best. Elmo thinks you are super. Now think about that. How about if you put Jesus or God in there? God thinks you're great. No matter what has happened over this pandemic, God thinks you're awesome. And not only that, as Pastor Nate reminded us on Sunday, God sees you. He sees you right where you are. He sees you if you're happy or you're sad. He sees you if you're grieving the loss of someone. And he sees you if your anxiety is just overtaking you. And we have to acknowledge that. Yesterday, I had the sincere privilege of presiding over a funeral for a little boy, Evander, and he only lived 3 days. And I was able to tell these parents that God loves them, that God saw them, and he knew Evander by name. And that was very helpful to them. And I'm not making that up, we talked. But it's important to realize that God knows each of us and he acknowledges us where we are. So, what does that mean for us? Well, it means that we need to realize that, as Nathaniel asked the question, can anything good come out of Nazareth? We have to say, can anything good come out of this pandemic? And I challenge you. I know you're probably sick of that word, but I'll do it anyways. I challenge you. What happened in this past year that's been awesome? Well, let's see. I'm going to share a few things. I had a grandson. That was pretty awesome. I got to see him, which was even more awesome, and hold him. My daughter got married, and I got to preside and officiate for that. We called another pastor. So now we've got somebody else working together. And I love having another person in the office to bounce ideas off and laugh with and plan with. That's a little church, a little personal. How about the fact that we've been able to keep church running in perhaps a different way than many of us would like, but we've been able to do that. Also, the fact that we've been able to do outreach when so many places have shut down. Those are all very, very positive things. And I guess they don't always look like we want them to look or we think they should look, but you know what? We're doing some things that are making an impact on others. And as we're looking forward at the end of Epiphany to Lent starting, I'm so excited for the fact that we are able to plan so that there are Lenten activities, Lenten worship opportunities that might be slightly different, but still contain that essence of who we are and who we will be as we continue to move forward. So for each of us, we need to reflect, where are we? Maybe you're at the point where you just need to sit down and pray and say, God, I know you see me. I know that and I love that. And what's my next step? Maybe you haven't felt comfortable coming to church or doing any outreach, and maybe you just want to take one little step in 2021 as we're continuing to move forward. Do that. Maybe you just want to take the time to say, God, I know you see me and I'm not comfortable leaving my house, but I can pray. So when you get your bulletin and your newsletter, you pray over those names. That's stepping forward and answering God's call. Maybe you're somebody who's been out a little more and has a little bit higher comfort level. Then I would ask you to think about how Jesus handled and had talked to Philip and to Nathaniel. He started by inviting them. Then Philip was so excited that he shared that information. And the key word there is enthusiasm. Invite somebody to join you in worship online. Invite somebody to hear one of our check-ins or check out what we're doing. Or just invite somebody to pray for somebody else. There are so many things we can do. And I want you to know I'm so proud of this congregation. I'm so proud of how you've rallied together and how we've been able to keep things moving. And I just ask that you remember that God sees you exactly where you are and He loves you. I hope you have an awesome week. It has been great checking in with you. Take care and God bless. Bye bye.